lounging, son.
All right, welcome back to the Comic Lounge podcast. My name is Ryan. Back with me, as always, my lovely co-host, my lovely co-host, the
I'm lovely as
Dillbot.
fuck.
So lovely as fuck. lovely. Let's talk this week's reads. We picked 5 books this week because after we picked our books last week, I realized that I left something out. So let me just say what we're reading, and then we'll jump into it. So obviously, Heroes Reborn 7, which is not the conclusion, because there's going to be a conclusion next week. We got Planet-Size X-Men, Static Season 1, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and, of course, Venom 200. All good, I guess.
Yeah.
There was one that was kind of a little bit lackluster to me. So what do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about...
Heroes Reborn.
Right.
Just get Heroes Reborn out of the way. That way we can talk about everything else. Jason Aaron is doing a great job. Like we said it time and time again.
Aaron Cooter is on art. We already said Jason Aaron's a writer. Dean White is a colorist for the first story. Ed McGinnis, Mark Morales, Matthew Wilson for the backstory. But yeah, all right, You go first.
Okay, so we get a little flashback action in this, and we get some of the major events that usually involve the Avengers, instead involving the Squadron Supreme. So we get Civil War, which they kind of allude to the fact that it was all over a woman, as opposed to, it being about, superhero rights. It's pretty cool. Okay, so what I liked about it was like you said it. An episode or two ago, how he's kind of taking the Spider-Man role of things. He gets punched by Hyperion, and he fucking flies through a J. Jonah Jameson billboard saying, "Nighthawk, man, hero or menace." It's all basically coming to a head here. We get the big reveal, and we finally see that President Coulson, as in Agent Coulson, is in cahoots with Mephisto. And then finally, after all the months of everybody on the internet and the world blaming Mephisto for everything, this is actually, in fact, Mephisto's fault. So, big spoiler reveal. But I mean, if you haven't been reading, it was kind of obvious from issue 3 that it was Mephisto.
Yeah, I think overall, I think Mephisto is going to be used more, because I feel like they trolled us with WandaVision. They're trolling us with Loki.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
I think the big reveal is going to be Kang for Loki. Like, we're going to see Kang.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to debut
pretty early.
Right, but he's debuting in the next Ant-Man movie. Like, that's where
he's going to be in the Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Kang obviously has to do with time and stuff, so that makes sense. Maybe it's a post-credit scene at the end of Loki.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that until you said it. But yeah, so but Mephisto, I feel like, and I was talking about this with a customer that came in the other day to the shop. It seems like they're really mining like Bronze Age stuff, right?
Yeah.
And Liefeld talks about it on his observations, and he talks about a lot of like that era of stories. West Coast Avengers, right, for WandaVision. He talked about that. Shang-Chi, or Shang-Chi, I guess, depending on who you ask how you say it. I think it's Shang-Chi, but whatever.
It's Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Shang Tsung.
And then, exactly. Thank you. And then, so I feel like, and Eternals is Bronze Age too. So I feel like this is like the perfect way to kind of bring that era of like, you had Son of Satan, you had Ghost Rider. I want to see those characters get brought into the live action and start mining some of that stuff. And so I feel like Mephisto is right in line where it kind of connects that kind of stuff. And I think Mephisto will be making his debut in the MCU soon. I feel like they can't be trolling us this much and then it's not going to play some sort of a factor in the MCU. You know what I mean? Like, why is he getting brought up this much? But yeah, and it was obvious, like, right, like you said in here. And I like the story. I like the Civil War stuff. I like, seeing the team together. My favorite page was, after they talk about killing the Phoenix, because they're talking about Echo and the Phoenix Force, as we saw our boy Wolvie. This is for TV, and he fucking...
Yes, I literally have that page pulled up right now. Look, because I wanted to talk about it. I literally wanted to show
best page in the book.
One of my oh my god, so good. I like this world's version of Wolverine. How he still kind of has like because he's in Alpha Flight, right?
Right.
He's still Canadian. He's still technically Weapon X. And he has like all the little spigot, little like all the spouts for the electronics and the tubes that went in him. And dude, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah, no, I absolutely loved it. I mean, I didn't pick up the one shot, but I've been kind of going back and forth. Should I just go take it to read when I get to work? Because now I kind of want to see that version of Wolverine. So seeing the different versions has been fun. Seeing the different takes on events, Civil War, we see the Dark Avengers, but it's the Dark Squadron. And in this reality, like Norman Osborn actually transforms into a goblin type person. Like he's not just
full ass goblin.
Yeah, so I like that.
They kind of give him Joker vibes too.
Yeah, so they're mixing Joker with a Green Goblin, which makes sense. You know what I mean? Like they were always kind of similar in tone, I think, to me, except Norman Osborn was
had a legitimate alter ego as opposed to
exactly. And then seeing the fucking Statue of Fury in Mephisto We Trust. So like we're starting, like things are all coming to a head. We see like what is it? Dr. Spectrum was with Mary Jane. Like so all these like little different changes, but the second favorite page was like the end of the issue with this version of Cap saying Avengers Assemble. Like that to me also was really dope. Like those 2 pages just really fucking did it for me. I'm excited for the end though. I am excited for the end to see what's going to happen, how this is going to play out. The Ed McGuinness story was good. It was mostly just that was where we got the reveal that you kind of touched on with Coulson and Mephisto. So we didn't get that in the main narrative, even though it started like teasing it throughout the story. Interesting, I mean, Coulson's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
and he just straight blasts fucking Ross,
Jonah Jameson and General Ross.
Yeah, fuck. He just like no hesitation, dude. Pop, pop. Fuck. All right.
And then say it was Wakanda.
Yeah.
Damn. Bro.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. But either way, I feel like I'll give more of my final thoughts of this thing overall when we talk about Heroes Return next week, because I really feel like I don't want to keep repeating myself, but overall this book has been a lot of fun. Great art on every single issue, and it's just it's like an Elseworlds story at Marvel, kind of. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what it is. Also mixed in with a little Age of Apocalypse. So I'm excited to see what's going to come from the Heroes Return #1. I'm excited to see maybe what will spin out, how it's going to affect main continuity moving forward. I'm not sure how it will or if it will, but either way, I think this is the most fun Jason Aaron Marvel stuff since War of the Realms and King Thor ended. So
yeah, agreed. So talk about Venom.
All right, cool. Yeah, let's talk about Venom. So I've often been critical of Donny Cates, right? Anytime we talked about his stuff, I think we talked about maybe all we've talked about was King in Black. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure I've mentioned him before on the podcast. Now, I've also said this dude, for some reason, sticking the landing on an end of a story has not been his strong suit. Mm-hmm. In terms of Marvel stuff, God Country was really good.
God Country is fantastic.
Yeah, there's another, was it the Ghost Fleet, I think? I thought that was really good with Daniel Warren Johnson. Some of his other indie stuff wasn't necessarily for me. Crossover is pretty good. I read that whole first arc. I thought that was pretty interesting. Absolute Carnage didn't stick the landing. King in Black, to me, didn't stick the landing. And him ending Venom, to me, did not stick the landing. I expected a lot more. I also was expecting an issue drawn primarily by Stegman, which we did not get. I mean, like, I don't even understand how you end the run that they started together and not have the majority of the art be by Stegman. Now, I get it. It's hard to draw a huge issue, but we saw him do it with Absolute Carnage #1. That was 56 pages of art that Stegman drew the entirety of. Now, I think that's what we should have got here. I think the majority of the story should have been Stegman and Cates ending it. I mean, maybe that's nitpicky. It probably is nitpicky. Maybe other people disagree with me. But I just don't think that this was like a crazy... I think there should have been more. I don't know. I don't even know what I expected from it. There was some interesting stuff. There's some good stuff. But overall, I was like, You know, I was going, it's good, I guess. It's a decent ending. It's a good comic.
Yeah.
Not amazing.
Yeah.
I was expecting amazing. I was like, dude, you're going to go out with a fucking bang. Fucking cap this shit off. Much like Aaron did with his fucking Thor run and King Thor. He fucking went out strong. You should have gone out strong with this. You had fucking 35 issues, 2 events. You know what I mean? Like, you've been building up so much stuff throughout this run. I feel like you could have ended it a little bit stronger. Now, I'll start going into some of the spoiler stuff. If you haven't read it, I mean, I know it's only been a couple days that it's been out, but I'm going to spoil some stuff. So if you don't want to be spoiled, skip ahead, come back after you read it. Now I'm going to go. Eddie Brock is, at the end of King in Black, he now has the power of Null. He controls all the symbiotes. He has the hive mind. But as we see, it comes at a cost, right? Like, it aged the shit out of him. So now we have Old Man Brock. Something that I thought was kind of anticlimactic in terms of what happened with King and, I'm
like,
all right, whatever, I guess.
I thought that was unnecessary. Like,
yeah. I mean
going forward, like, knowing what I know now, like, I guess. But
yeah. But still, I was like, fuck, man. Like, I thought that, like Rom V and Al Ewing are co-writing the next series, the Brian Hitchcock art, which I'm going to pick up because I love Al Ewing and Rom V. So there's no way I'm not going to check that out. But, like, you aged Eddie Brock. Besides the interactions with, like, Peter Parker, a.k.a. Spider-Man here, which that
was my favorite one.
That was the best. That was the best of it, in my opinion. But
because it was a very honest Eddie and a very honest Peter. It was nice. Yeah, that's how you should have ended the story. It should have stopped right there.
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple teases for other stuff moving forward, like what's going to be the Extreme Carnage, like Flash Thompson's back, Agent Venom. So we got that.
The art on Flash Thompson's little story, it was phenomenal. That was like my favorite art.
Oh, that dude's amazing. You know what? I didn't read the credits because there's so many fucking people on this book that. Okay, here we go. So let me read the credits real quick before we continue. So Donny Cates obviously wrote it with Philip Kennedy Johnson, who I'm a huge fan of. He wrote pages 40 and 50 with him. Then we got Ryan Stegman, Kev Walker, Danilo Beyruth, Ron Lim, Guy Villanova, Gerardo Sandoval, and Mark Bagley as the pencilers. J.P. Mayer, Jay Liston, Kev Walker, Danilo Beyruth, Scott Hanna, Guy Villanova, Gerardo Sandoval, Victor Nava, John Dell Inkers, Frank Martin, Chris O'Halloran, Jim Campbell, Matt Millett, Axel Clare, Chris Sotomayor, and Richard Isenhoff are the colors, and Clayton Cowles did all the lettering. Would have served better if it was Stegman and Cates, the beginning. And then at the end, you tease what's to come with some of the people that are going to be taking over. That's fine with me. I get it, but it's a $10 book. Like, and to spend $10 on a comic and to not be fully blown away is kind of disheartening. You know what I mean? Like, especially when it's not an anthology book. This is supposed to be like the capstone of a fucking epic run that started off so strong, that made me care about Eddie Brock, that made me like the character, and then to not be blown away was just, it upset me a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, and then the last thing I'll talk about, or there's a couple other things interesting. I'll bring up Maker from the Ultimate Universe, talking about the Ultimate Universe is trying to come back. So I know that's kind of cool, right? Like
the whole Council of Reeds thing has always been interesting to me. Like,
yeah. And that's
it's always been dope to me.
Right. And that's, so obviously, like, Cates, like, loves Hickman and Jason Aaron because he pulls so much from what they've created, and he's put that into his stuff, right? So, I like that stuff. I like, the interaction with Cap. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to say the big spoiler of the issue, and then you give your thoughts.
Yeah.
They made Dylan not pointless because he felt pointless at the end of King of Black. Like, oh, what the fuck was the purpose of this kid? Kind of. That's what I felt. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, they built this kid up. They built this kid up, and he was nothing. Now he's Venom.
Yeah, and then Yeah.
But with
And
the chains,
what I liked about the character design, and it's totally Donny Cates and his ode to McFarlane, chains. Kids love chains.
I just don't understand. Like, why does the symbiote need chains on his arms? It's weird. It doesn't look bad. Like, it doesn't look bad. I just don't understand why
I don't
got
understand
chains
it either.
around.
I don't understand it either. I mean, they could have like gave him his own kind of unique take on it, and like the fact that they just made him just pretty much the same Venom, but with chains on around his arm, like symbiote chains around his arm. I felt that was kind of lazy. Like they could have made him cooler. You know what I mean? They could have given it. They could have made him like a slimmer Venom. You know what I mean? Or
just a little bit changed to the costume. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but Eddie Brock's beard kept progressively getting longer, which why was there no consistency there? Like, is time moving forward really fast? Like, his beard was so short. Like, just
he's getting more hair down here and less hair up here.
So it was like, a little odd. I don't know. Those are some of my favorite illustrated pages because I love Stegman's art, and that's why I was like, "Fuck, man, you saved it for last." Like, I don't know. I just think that when you have a $10 book, when you're heralding it as this is going to change the Venom mythos, like this is going to change it, right? Something big happens, and you're ending this run. Like, it should have just. I felt it could have been a little bit more epic. I felt like you could have still had the quiet moments like we had with Peter, but still, like, I don't know. I don't know what Donnie's issue is. Why his
issue with last issues?
Yeah, his issue with last issues. I'm not the only one that feels this way.
No, I feel like this.
And I'm not trying to bash him. The writing isn't bad. He's not a bad writer. Right? I'm not saying that the writing in this comic is not good because obviously I just said, like, I love that interaction with Peter. I love the interaction with the cat. So it's written well. All the art in the book is drawn well. I just wanted Stegman and Cates for the end. And if you have to take over new creators, whoever's going to take over the book and have them have a couple short stories in the back, fine. It's been done before. It's not like I'm opposed to that, but it just felt a little disjointed having so many different artists on the book. It didn't feel cohesive. And I think it should have been.
Okay. You basically said what I felt. It was good, but it wasn't like you're right. It wasn't the big finale that I was expecting. There were, however, little moments that I really enjoyed. When he's talking about how he's connected with the hive mind and he's like, projecting himself in other places, and then they show that he's in like Avengers Tower, he's in Krakoa. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was cool.
Sitting here, like, I was like, yeah, that's pretty tight. And like, look, the mutants let him on the island. Off top, that's dope. like, you know what I mean? All right, cool. But like, it was the Peter moment for me that was the best. I don't know. Like, in the later years, the relationship between the two has always been really dope for me. Like, because it's always been about like Eddie's on like the path of redemption. Has always been on the path of redemption. He has been for a while, right? I feel like this conversation between the two, there was no like it is a new Eddie Brock. You know what I mean? And the fact that Peter's kind of conveying like the feelings that I have as a reader, like, holy shit, like, hey, if you want to be a villain again, like that's cool too. But he's like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm omnipresent, bro. Like, I'm everywhere. I'm here, I'm there, and all that. It's pretty dope. And I like how Peter tries to correct him, like when he speaks and is like, "Hey, I'm the journalist here." Like, you shutterbug, like, get out of here. Like, you keep on taking pictures. Like,
it was good.
That was like the highlight of it for me. And I'm very interested to see where Al Ewing takes this new Venom. Al Ewing and Ron B, where they go with this new Venom, and if it's going to be like a simultaneously told story, if it's going to be like Space Venom, like Space Eddie Brock, God Venom, and Earth Dylan Brock.
That's what I feel like it will be. Now I feel that way. I didn't know that before, but it feels like that's what they could do.
Yeah, like if it's simultelling, if it's like two separate stories, and it's like bringing on the coming of Venomized Maker and his ultimate universe of Venomized freaking offspring. Like, okay, let's see it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels like Donny Cates wants to bring the Ultimate Universe back, and I mean I didn't dislike the Ultimate Universe, but I mean is it necessary? I mean maybe for an event you could do like a miniseries, I guess, but I saw what they did with the Marvel Knights miniseries, and I didn't think that was that great, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see like what comes out of these little seeds that have been planted. That you know, I'm interested in that. The Extreme Carnage, I don't know if I'll pick that up. I'm kind of burnt out on symbiotes for now.
I'm burnt out on Carnage. I think he's the most one-dimensional character ever. Oh, he's crazy. That's it.
Yeah, that's
that's
all he is.
There's no depth there, and like
you're
crazy.
You never like read Carnage and you're like, oh, I kind of understand where he's coming from. No. Like even Joker. Even Joker has lines where you're like, well, I kind of
but like, but Carnage, he just says like, I'm gonna peel your skin off and feed it to the dog, then I'm gonna eat the dog.
Yeah.
like shit like that. Like
yeah, it's just weird. So, overall, like it's hard. I don't even know what I would grade this one. I know we don't always like give our grade of what we think of every issue, but this one is like
9. Solid 8. That Spider-Man moment did it for me. That's class A writing where you just take two characters.
I'm leaning closer. I'm leaning closer to the 8, and it's like I'm being generous giving it the 8.
So a hard 8.
Yeah. So it was a cool comic. It was a fun comic book with its good moments, but that's about it.
Let's move on to something that had fucking fantastic moments every single fucking page. Planet-sized fucking X-Men.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
I'm just gonna tell you right now. Right off top, 10 out of 10. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it was a 10. And you know what? This has me so excited, like, that X-Men is in good hands with Jerry Duggan writing it, because he wrote a hell of an issue. Pepe Larraz on art. That's the new X-Men team going forward with the next issue when #1 launches next month. And we also had Marte Gracia as the colorist, Clayton Cowles letter, and Tom Muller as the design. I was right and wrong with my assumptions of what last week's issue was, or when we talked about X-Men 21. This is going to be very spoiler heavy. Obviously, by me saying that I was right and wrong. We talked about a planet being created, but I was wrong that it was being created. It was Mars being terraformed. Insane. Like, these mutants use their powers to terraform a planet. Like, all the different ones. You had Magneto with the iron, like just creating all this stuff.
And I like how it's Forge he's talking to. Like, hey, how do we make a planet, Forge?
Yeah. Like, that's just brilliant. It's brilliant storytelling. Everybody that, if you've been following along with the X line, to kind of give some context, right? Like, Krakoa is where all the mutants are living, right? And then we had the Ten of Swords crossover, which the twin island of Krakoa, which used to be one island, Arakko was in this other world area, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of Ten of Swords, Arakko ends up on Earth. And those mutants that live on Arakko have all been at constant war, are all warriors. So this Hellfire Gala and this event that is taking place, some of the characters bring up, like, well, what are we going to do about it? And there's a scene in this particular issue where Cap meets with Cyclops at the X Mansion, which was so good. It was such good writing. And I just love that.
You could have met me anywhere. I just wanted to take the drive out here.
Yeah, it was dope. And he's like, what are we gonna what do we have to worry? What are we gonna do about this? And this is the answer that Magneto comes up. I think it's Magneto that's come up with this plan. I don't know if it's other mutants too, but it seems like this is his idea. And
this definitely feels Magneto heavy. I feel like Magneto was trying to answer a bunch of problems, like, trying to figure out a bunch of issues all at once, and he was like, fuck it, planet.
Yeah, so he basically, like, spends the issue, like, figuring out how he's going to do this. He goes to the leader at Arakko. They have their own council, right, at a similar table to what the
Inner Ring.
The Quiet Council.
The Quiet Council and the Inner Ring.
Right. So it's just, I mean, like, as he's going around, like, just like that, there's a panel where he's talking to Emma, and Emma's asking, she says something like, why, Eric, you, like, she's like, you surprised me. Are you keeping something? And just, like, you don't see him answer, you just see that smirk. Priceless. I mean, I loved it. And, he's come up with this brilliant idea to take the mutants from Morocco, and now he's going to give them a fucking planet. Like, that's basically what the gist of this is. And how it comes to be, and how they use their powers, and how they explain what they're doing. Like, what's the mutant's name?
The one with the blood that contains like a whole biodome.
Subunar. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck? He cuts his hand, and the fucking oceans fill in Mars. And then the next mutant that they Xylo, right? Like, the fucking, like, you start seeing, like, the periodic table and fucking all this shit, like, plants coming to the planet. And it's the art.
It's brilliant.
Is amazing. It's phenomenal. Everything about this fucking book is so dope. And to come up with this and to create basically a planet of mutants that now have their own homeworld. So, like, yes, Arako's there, but technically, like, the Krakoans can be there too, right? Yeah. And I love what they do with Jamie. What's the last name?
Braddock.
Jamie Braddock. And those pages are fucking insane. Like, that, like, is a psychedelic experience looking at that. How they basically create a new sword, right? Space station.
How he gives birth to it.
Yeah, it's basically Inception happening, dude. And, like, that fucking page where they're inside his brain, and you see it's like a little, it's literally a little sperm that goes into the center of his brain, and what comes out of it is this fucking thing, and he looks like he's pregnant. He gives birth to this new fucking space station. I mean, I just, like, there's other little moments. I'll let you talk now, because I mean, I could keep going. It just so good. I'm just gonna just point out the obvious. I don't know if you noticed it, but Pepe Larraz can draw Magneto for the rest of his life. Yeah.
Magneto looks so fucking dope and so fucking dramatic with the cape over here.
Yeah.
Like, just like, it's so good. Like, even when he's, like, riding in on the iron asteroid, bringing in all the iron with him, dude, that's like this is huge. Every single page on this, huge panels with huge depictions of galaxy and the world and creation. Like, this is some fucking epic fucking world creation shit. Like, man, you guys really sat there and thought about this. Like, everybody had a role into creating this, right? Like, I love how he's like there's a moment, because Storm, she creates that she kind of sets up the atmosphere for everything to get set up, right? And then like her and Magneto are outside talking, and then she's there to congratulate him, and then it starts raining, and then Magneto asks her, "Rain?" He's like, "It's not me. Planet's alive again." Like, damn! Like, woo!
I know.
Woo! Like, and then there's a line that Magneto says, what takes a millennia to create, mutantdom has done it in a mere few hours. Like,
yeah, I know. It's crazy.
It's some epic stuff, dude. Like, this is some real life world creator shit, and I'm just gonna dub it now. It's Planet X. Like, as cheesy and as predictable as it sounds, I'm just calling it Planet X until I'm told otherwise. But
I mean, they call it Araco.
Oh, they're calling it Araco.
They're calling it Araco.
Oh,
Araco, and in quotations, it's Mars.
Oh, okay.
Because they've now renamed the fucking planet.
I see it. This book set out to do exactly what it wanted to do, and it was big. It's huge. It changes a lot. It really will change a lot, especially just like the mere existence and presence of mutants on Earth, now on Mars. Like, that's phenomenal. Like, that takes away the human element that's always been an issue, right? So, like, if they start freaking cultivating all their freaking plants on Mars as opposed to on Earth where it could be stolen, like, it's just the way they set everything up, and how every team has their specific role. Like, it's gonna play really crazy into this whole we now have a planet thing.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I feel like we're nearing the middle of this era, this Hickman era of X-Men. Like, this is just setting up right before we're getting Inferno. I feel like Inferno is the midway point. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong with this, but I feel like that kind of is. I mean, he spent a few years on Fantastic Four. He spent a few years on Avengers, right? And in the middle of it all, we had Infinity, right? Infinity, I feel like, was the midway point before we got to Secret Wars. So Inferno feels like that midway point, and there's just so much more that could come from everything that are giving us. Now, if anyone pays attention, like, obviously there's important issues. I think I said this last week. There's all the big issues that you need to read for the Hellfire Gala. You don't need to read everything. I kind of glanced at the other two. I didn't really read them all the way through. But Sword is going to be the next big one. Now, the only thing I was kind of disappointed with, and it's a small disappointment, it was just that I was expecting we were going to learn the new Omega level mutants.
Yeah.
Because they did tease that. Not necessarily that it was going to be in this issue, but and then the other new members of the Quiet Council. We also have not seen those. Now, I don't even know that we're going to see them in Sword. I don't know when the fuck we'll see them. But I still want to know when that's going to happen and who that's going to be, because I feel like that's also going to be pretty big reveals. But overall, this was a 10. I mean, it was so fucking good, from the writing to the art, and I am so hyped now to see, and I loved Hickman's X-Men, and I'm sure maybe some people are only picking it up because they like Hickman, but I think Jerry Duggan is a really good writer, and I think that this shows that he's going to have some epic stuff going on, and Hickman still has his hand in terms of the overall, like, narrative, overall connecting narrative, you know what I mean, throughout the X line. So I think this was great. I think it was probably my favorite book of the week, besides the book that we'll save for the end. You want to talk Supergirl?
Let's talk Supergirl. I didn't know. Okay, let's read credits. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Tom King, Bill Quist, Evely, and the artist Matthias Lopez, colors. Clayton Cowles lettered every book we read this week, I feel like.
Yeah. Except for oh no, Corey Pettit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the only book that he hasn't lettered, and I don't think he lettered the last book. But anyways, Supergirl World of Tomorrow, or Woman of Tomorrow. First of all, this announcement came out of nowhere when Tom King was going to write the book, so I thought that was it was a weird choice. I never would have thought, I mean, not that I've ever picked the characters he would write, but Supergirl was so far out of left field. I would consider her more of a mainstream character than, like, the last few miniseries he's wrote, right? Like Mr. Miracle, Vision, and Strange Adventures with Adam Strange. Like, those are, like, I would say a little bit below Supergirl in terms of recognition. First of all, the cover, you have her holding a sword. Like, if that doesn't make you want to pick up to be like, why the fuck does she need a sword? You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't even make sense. She's Supergirl. She don't need a fucking weapon. She is the weapon. But it's the story that takes place in this issue that I just absolutely love. The art is fucking breathtaking. It is beautiful. Art is 10 out of 10. I would even say this book is a 10. It's not what you expect, though. It's not what you expect you're going to get, because Supergirl, you don't even see for a few pages into this book. You
don't see this for a while. You don't see it till, like, at least almost halfway.
Yeah, you basically are talking to the narrator, or you see the narrator of this book, this young woman, right?
Ruthie.
Yeah, who I love the design of this planet. It's like kind of like, it's got heavy fantasy vibes, kind of D&D type characters. I mean, that's what I kind of take from it. You're on this, like, strange planet, right? And by the time, I mean, I think it's like 8 pages in before you see her, but you see this, she's like getting drunk, right? At this bar. And that's where I'm like, okay. So she talks about finally being 21. So she obviously goes to a planet where she doesn't have her powers so that she can get drunk. And I find that kind of funny. I find that kind of interesting.
Because in the beginning, I didn't notice it until she mentioned it. I'm like, oh, it was a red sun. So she goes to a planet with a red sun so she can actually get drunk.
Right. And so I just, like, this is like the culture that she has kind of gone to seems like they're constantly at battle with. There's like two factions that are at war with each other. At least, I mean, that's what I'm taking from it, unless I'm wrong. But I love this. Once Supergirl enters it is where I really started getting into it. Seeing her fight this dude, but she starts bleeding because, again, Red Sun, she's got no powers, which is why she has a sword to protect her. You got Krypto with his little fucking blue bandana hanging off. But that page with Supergirl standing over that dude with two swords in her hand, I fucking loved it, dude. I just, from there on, I'm like, I hope she has no powers throughout this entire series.
I hope she goes powerless, because
I think it'll give
this run.
I think it'll be a more interesting story if it is that. And Ruthie fucking takes her, is kind of nursing her back to health, and she asks her for help. She needs Supergirl, she needs Kara to kill somebody. And anybody that knows the Superman mythology, they don't kill unless you're in a Zack Snyder movie, and then Superman will kill anybody, I guess.
Kill everybody.
But I think it's interesting. Like Supergirl tells her no. Ruthie comes back. Supergirl's about to leave again, and she continues to ask her. But just the way Ruthie is describing Supergirl in the narration, I really enjoyed. And but she doesn't give up. She continues to fucking keep pushing her to kind of help her. And finally you get, first of all, the sunset and the skylines are just I love the coloring in this book. The coloring is it might be one of my favorite aspects. The coloring and art above the writing to me.
It sets the tone. The tone, and there's a scene where they're looking at each other, where Kara and Ruthie are looking at each other. It's the top third of what page is it? I think it's the 15th or 14th page. Where they're looking at each other, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's one of the most. It's beautiful. It's fucking so well colored, and then it's funny because they're staring at each other. They have a moment, and then Kara throws up. Fuck.
yeah. And Ruthie's like, "Take your time. I can wait." I mean, that's such a great. It's such a great page. I mean, it's just I want to learn more about Ruthie. I want to learn more about this planet. Obviously, towards the end is where shit fucking hits the fan. That's where I even more so. I don't know. This book is so unexpected on so many levels. I knew that the writing would be good. I knew the art was going to be amazing. But in terms of what I was going to see on the page, I had no fucking idea. And I mean, I didn't look at the solicit. This is one of the books I didn't look at the solicit, so I really had no clue what was going to take place. And it blew me away. It surprised the shit out of me.
Wait. And they this is a Supergirl book, but it wouldn't be a Supergirl book without her Superman moment. And she has her Superman moment, and it's one of the best shits ever. I thought that sequence of panels were fucking amazing, where she gets hit in the chest with an arrow.
Oh my god, Jesus Christ!
And then she's like, swords and arrows. Do you even know who I am? I'm Supergirl. You think I give a fuck about
I know.
Swords and arrows.
And so, she's fighting them with 3 arrows in her chest, and she's just just fighting with her. So dope.
And then grabs the sword. I really like this 21-year-old bad bitch fucking Kara.
Yeah.
Do your fucking thing. And the rage, dude. The rage. It's so good. I'm really here for it.
I mean,
I haven't been this excited for a Tom King book in a while.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I mean, it's a completely different tone than what we've gotten from the past few solo character miniseries that he's done. It's just completely different. It's a completely different type of story, and
it's a comic. It's a comic as opposed to a deconstruction of.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting because the dude she was supposed to kill is the dude that shot her with the arrows, and then steals her fucking and Krypto too. Krypto gets fucking, he gets taken out. we have no idea where this is going to lead. This isn't a Black Label book either. This is Infinite Frontier, which means it is within the realm of the continuity, at least that they're laying out. I know that the Omniverse and anything can happen, all things matter kind of thing is happening with DC, but it'll be interesting to see if this will connect, if this, because, this is a dope Supergirl. I want to see this Supergirl, and in terms of connecting, I mean, like, this personality. I want to see this version of Supergirl being told throughout the DC.
Yeah.
And now that she's stuck on the planet, anything can happen. You know what I mean? Like, she can't leave now.
She can't fly.
Can't fly. Sure. She's got 3 arrows in her chest still as we end the as we end the issue. And Crypto's fucked up. So I don't know, dude. I didn't sign up for the book at first because I'm like, maybe I'll just wait for the miniseries. And I still am on the, like, I don't know. Am I going to just wait for the hardcover, the eventual hardcover? I don't know.
I mean, like, now I'm going to get the hardcover, but I'm going to read it.
Like, I mean, I really want to read this.
That's what kind of a first issue this was. This is one of those first issues where it's like, holy shit, this is going to be some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I can see it now.
Yeah, it's really dope. It's amazing.
Let's talk about Static.
All right, my boy Static.
Milestone returns.
Vita Ayala, Crisscross, Nicholas Draper-Ivy.
Vita Ayala is becoming one of my is becoming such a solid writer.
Yeah, they're really good.
She's doing on,
they're really good.
Yeah.
Vita did a great job. I like Vita's writing, but New Mutants, I haven't been reading. I kind of limit myself in terms of how much X stuff I'm reading. So I know you've been really digging it, so I think I'll probably catch up on it. But Static was fucking so good. And first of all, I've talked about my love for Static. We did the episode on the first OG Static series back from, when Milestone first started. We talked about Milestone Returns, and quick shout out, man. Like, not only did we lose Robert Washington III, Dwayne McDuffie, two of the 3 co-creators of Static, but John Paul Leon recently passed. And he was an artist on the OG Static series. And it sucks that they didn't get to see, none of them got to see the return of this character that Dennis Cowan and Reginald Hudlin have been so tirelessly trying to get back in print. Because this was phenomenal. This was the Static that I was hoping I would get. I highly recommend picking up Milestone Returns if you didn't already before picking up Static, because it definitely sets up a lot of what they're referring to in this book. Vita's writing great, but let me tell you, dude, Nicholas Draper-Ivy stole the show. I hate saying that, but I mean, he did. It was so good. This hip hop manga vibe that I get from his art.
Hip hop hype beast manga, dude.
This I just
have to point out. Yeah. This book in this book alone is such a celebration of Black people hair. Like, it's amazing. I've never seen these hairstyles executed so well. Yeah. Oh, I know. Like, down to how Nicholas Draper-Ivy said for the early designs of Static, how his hair was inspired by Basquiat. Yeah. And how, just the execution of it, like, everything looks so gorgeous and so beautiful. Like, there's everybody in here looks very regal, despite it being modern times. Like, the lighting, the tones, like, the fashion that he does. The fashion. His fashion is, like, on point. Like, I'm not in high school, but, like, I know how people fucking dress. And this is, it's not just basic clothes either. Like, he's putting some real thought into the design. I mean, even the fucking pants that Virgil's wearing in the hallway scene, like, the denim, like, holy shit. Like, the textures to Frida's, like, her leggings, like, it's crazy, dude. Like, this is, I don't know how they found him. I don't know how I seriously don't know how they found him. I did not know him before. You said you did. You were following him before he got announced on Static. I try to find artists that way, but I don't ever click hashtags in Instagram, which I think I should start doing it, because that's how I feel like that's how you can find artists.
You know what I mean? Like, or if you look in the recommended feed that they'll have on that feature as well. But Nicholas Draper Ivey is like, he's elevated himself to like, if I see his name on a book, I'm gonna pick it up just for the art alone. I don't even care at this point who's writing the stories he's drawing. Like, I want to see more from him. I hope that this book is successful. You know, I popped up from my little cubby hole at the shop where I'm doing the online sales, and I fucking like, Static, you guys got to buy it. You know what I mean? Like, pick this shit up.
What I love about it is basically a modernization of the very first story arc with Hot Streak. It's a complete modernization, and it's retelling the story. It is essentially the same origin, but just a different depiction of it. Like I said, more modernized, and also like it shows you like that how smart Virgil really is, as opposed to just a rage monster.
Too. Right,
you know,
that was
as opposed to just an electric rage monster who will just overpower everything. But no, there's a method to his madness, and I really like that. He kind of takes the Peter Parker trope a little bit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He even says it like, I miss the days where all I cared about was good grades and asking and working up the courage to ask Frida out on a date.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. Like he's just a regular high school kid, and they do a little flashback of the dinner table. Before
I was gonna bring
the Big
that
Bang.
Up. I was gonna bring that up. Yeah,
flashback of the dinner table before the Big Bang. How everything was just nice and easy, but then like post Big Bang, like it's like everything's changed. Everyone's treating him differently. Everyone treats him like some sort of fucking science experiment gone wrong, and like his own family is over here trying to make decisions for him while he's just sitting there. And they're finally getting to the root of the issue, finally having a real good family discussion, and then boom, Hot Streak shows up to the house. I don't give a fuck where you from. Motherfucker you got into a fight with shows up at your house. It's fucking hands on sight. On fucking sight. Everybody is fucking getting it. I don't give a fuck. Like, you and whoever fucking crew you brought with come to my house in front of my family, bro, game over. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if my mom's gonna beat my ass afterwards. Like,
no, like, I feel you on that. Yeah, like, I mean, I thought it was interesting that happened, because that never happened in the old series. Like, he went toe to toe with him in the streets, right?
Yeah.
But like, this is taking it to a whole nother level. Like, you just brought this shit to his house. What he does to him at his house, and I love the explanation.
To his door. Yeah. I don't know. That's just like the most disrespectful shit.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool too, because like within that fight, right? Like, Virgil it's playing more into like his intellect and how smart he is, and he talks about Alva Industries and Curtis Hardware. So he's already making that connection, which is unique to this new telling of the Milestone universe. I don't think that was ever a part of it back in the day, and I like that connection, and how he gets not destroys, but how he uses his powers within it, and the fight scene, that fucking sweeping kick that he takes to fucking Hot Streak's dome, like that shit was dope. Yeah, I mean, and then just like the depiction of the energy of this Static is putting off, contrasting with Hot Streak's fire powers, like, there's just so much, and this is where I say it's got a lot of the manga vibes, is the fight scenes, right? And the movement and the motion that he's doing. I mean, dude, it's just like, fuck. This was such a great first issue. Like, that's why I said this was tied for me for my favorite book of the week. I had more anticipation for this than Planet-Size X-Men. The anticipation for this has been years. I have waited years for Milestone to come back. Planet-Size, I mean, I guess it's been a couple years since House and Powers, so like, but I wasn't anticipating necessarily this story. Fuck, Static was just so, I mean, like, that final page too, like, what's going to take place next? Yeah. What happens next? His family now knows he's got powers, right? Like, this is also, that we're seeing, this is new territory. We didn't see this in the past. And that final panel, like, that tear coming down his face. Holy shit. The emotion in that panel is just absolutely insane, and he captures the emotions throughout the book. It's like, really dope.
From what I gather already, from all the stuff that we got of Static so far, is just Vita Ayala is doing a great job over layering the depth of the character. Like, it's just she's piling everything on him very elegantly to create and even I'll say it, and even it's poising itself to be a better static than we've ever had. Like, and to do that within an issue and a quarter of an issue, like, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And I mean, yeah, and I think that like I don't know exactly like Chris Cross did all the layouts. I love Chris Cross, like one of the dopest artists. Like the Firestorm, like the Jason Rush Firestorm that they created back in like the mid 2000s, like was so dope. And I don't know if you've ever read it, but I highly recommend checking it out. But like he did all the layouts for this. So when I'm talking about Nicholas Draper Ivy's art, I can't forget, you know, Chris Cross, because he's also pacing this, right? When you're doing layouts, you're pacing the whole book, you're laying out how the scene's going to look, and then Nicholas Draper Ivy does his magic over it. But yeah, the composition of the pages, the fight scenes, like, you got to give that shout out to Chris Cross. I don't want to like fucking only praise Draper Ivy's art. This is a fantastic team.
Yeah, like,
fucking
going forward. I hope these guys like work with each other multiple times. Like, you know, that it's a thing. I think that should be a thing too. Like in comics in general, like if there's a team that works well together, they should work well together often.
I agree.
Like yeah, exactly. I would love to see, you know, fucking more of these guys taking on different takes and new fresh takes over characters already established, as well as creator owned stuff. The creator owned stuff is going to be fantastic. Like I could only imagine what Vita has in their pocket, and you know what Nicholas Draper Ivy and Chris Cross can do with those ideas.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't want. I would prefer, if they're not going to be doing the milestone stuff, creator owned is fine. But I don't want them being put on. I don't want like Marvel or DC stealing that team to do a different book. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think Milestone deserves to have really good talent and to continue to have that talent on their books. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I want to see other stuff from them, but don't leave these titles either. You know what I mean? Like, I hate when you have a good team on a book and you steal them, and then you put like a team that's maybe not as good. Either way, though,
this is a fantastic first issue. I'm glad you read it. I'm glad it's back.
I'm so excited for the rest of the Milestone line. So excited. Yes. I cannot wait to read Hardware, Icon, and Rocket. And obviously, we will be talking about those over the next, you know, couple months when those books drop, because I love Milestone. I'm so glad it's back. Great first issue. And if you haven't picked it up, pick up the book. Any of the books that we've read this week have all been good. You know, I know that I was kind of harsh on Venom a little bit, but, you know, if you're a Venom fan, you pick it up. If you've been liking the run, it's not a bad issue. It's just not.
It closes everything out. It doesn't fail to do its job, but it doesn't. There's a reason why we call it "Don't Stick the Landing." That means they landed, but they didn't stick it.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, that's all my thoughts for this week's books. Let's talk what we're going to read next week. I think we already touched on the fact that we're going to read Infinite Frontier #1, Heroes Return #1, Black Hammer Reborn #1, and then I don't know, anything else catch your eye? Spawn Universe #1.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I was eyeing that. I just didn't know where you were with it.
Oh, are you kidding me? Come on.
Okay, cool.
Come on. You know I'm going to do it. And then, I mean, I was going to say Stray Dogs, but I would rather, once all 5 are done, we just do an episode. We'll do it as a book club episode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, fantastic. I'm here for that. Like,
all right, cool.
I mean, I'm like an issue or two, about to be 2 issues behind, but like it's great. We can talk about it. I'm down.
All right, cool. So Heroes Return #1, Black Hammer Reborn #1, Spawn Universe #1, and Infinite Frontier #1. Good, solid fucking collection.
Week of #1s, dude.
Week of #1s in all different publishers. So I'm down. I'm very excited for those books. And that's all I got. If you're not already following us, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Comic Lounge. Follow Dylan at The Dillbot on Instagram. Dillbot is dope on Twitter. And then if you're not already, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid goes up. And on that note, we're out.
Later, buds.